Summary of Chapter 7. Of You Become What You Think. Chapter 7 of You Become What You Think focuses on relationships, communication, and the influence of people on human thinking and personal growth. After discussing thoughts, beliefs, discipline, focus, and purpose in earlier chapters, the author now explains how the people around us affect our mindset, emotions, confidence, and future. The chapter teaches that human beings are deeply influenced by their environment. The conversations people hear daily, the attitudes they are surrounded by, and the relationships they maintain all shape mental patterns and emotional health. The central message of Chapter 7 is, the people you spend time with influence the person you gradually become. The author encourages readers to choose relationships wisely, communicate positively, and build connections that support growth instead of negativity. 1. Human beings are influenced by their environment. The chapter begins by explaining that no person develops completely alone. People absorb habits, attitudes, beliefs, language, emotions, and behaviors from those around them. The author explains that environments filled with negativity, criticism, fear, laziness, and hopelessness can weaken confidence and ambition. On the other hand, environments filled with encouragement, discipline, positivity, learning, and respect can strengthen mental growth. The chapter teaches that protecting one's mental environment is extremely important too. Relationships affect emotional health. One of the major lessons in the chapter is that relationships influence emotional stability. Healthy relationships create peace, support, trust, motivation, and emotional strength. Toxic relationships create stress, insecurity, anger, fear, and emotional exhaustion. The author explains that many people remain mentally disturbed because they constantly surround themselves with negativity. The chapter encourages readers to notice how certain people affect their emotional energy. After meeting someone, do you feel inspired, peaceful, motivated, or drained, anxious, discouraged? This awareness helps people make healthier relationship choices. 3. Communication shapes relationships. The chapter strongly emphasizes communication. According to the author, words have emotional power. Positive communication strengthens trust, respect, understanding, and emotional connection. Negative communication damages confidence, peace, and relationships. The chapter explains that many conflicts happen because people react emotionally, speak harshly, interrupt others, or fail to listen properly. The author encourages readers to communicate with patience, kindness, honesty, and emotional control. 4. Listening is an important skill. A major section of the chapter discusses listening. Many people focus only on expressing themselves but do not truly listen to others. The author explains that listening creates understanding, emotional connection, and trust. Good listeners pay attention, avoid unnecessary judgment, and allow others to express themselves freely. The chapter teaches that relationships improve when people feel heard and respected. 5. Negative people can influence thinking. Another important topic is the influence of negative individuals. The author explains that constantly spending time with people who complain, criticize, spread fear, mock dreams, or discourage growth can slowly damage mindset and confidence. Negativity is emotionally contagious. If a person constantly hears, "You cannot do this," life never improves. There is no point trying, then those ideas may slowly enter the subconscious mind. The chapter encourages readers to reduce unnecessary exposure to toxic negativity whenever possible. 6. Positive company encourages growth. Just as negative people influence the mind negatively, positive people strengthen growth. The author explains that supportive individuals inspire confidence, encourage discipline, motivate learning, and create hope. Spending time with growth-oriented people often improves thinking, habits, communication, and emotional strength. The chapter teaches that success becomes easier when people are surrounded by encouragement instead of constant criticism. 7. Respect improves relationships. The chapter discusses the importance of respect in every relationship. Respect includes listening carefully, speaking politely, valuing others' feelings, and controlling unnecessary anger. The author explains that relationships become weak when ego becomes stronger than understanding. Many conflicts grow because people want to prove themselves right, dominate conversations, or hurt others emotionally during arguments. The chapter teaches that mature individuals protect relationships through humility and emotional control. 8. Anger destroys connection. A major lesson in the chapter is the danger of uncontrolled anger. The author explains that harsh words spoken in anger can create long-lasting emotional wounds. Many people damage relationships because they react impulsively without thinking. The chapter advises readers to calm down before responding, avoid speaking during intense anger, and learn emotional patience. Strong relationships require emotional discipline. 9. Encouragement has great power. The chapter highlights the importance of encouragement. Simple positive words can increase confidence, reduce fear, inspire effort, and improve emotional strength. The author explains that many people silently struggle with insecurity and self-doubt. Encouragement can help them believe in themselves again. Examples of encouraging communication include appreciating effort, supporting improvement, and speaking with kindness. The chapter teaches that positive words can deeply affect someone's mindset and motivation. 10. Gossip and negativity damage the mind. Another important topic in the chapter is gossip. The author explains that constant gossip creates negativity, distraction, unnecessary conflict, and mental pollution. People who constantly discuss others negatively often develop unhealthy thinking patterns themselves. The chapter encourages readers to focus more on self-improvement, learning, meaningful conversations, and productive goals. Protecting the mind from unnecessary negativity helps maintain peace and focus. 11. Relationships require effort. The chapter explains that strong relationships do not happen automatically. They require communication, understanding, patience, forgiveness, and time. Many people expect relationships to remain healthy without effort. The author says emotional connection grows when people show care, remain supportive, express gratitude, and spend quality time together. Relationships weaken when neglected continuously. 12. Forgiveness brings emotional freedom. Forgiveness is another important lesson in the chapter. Holding anger and resentment for long periods damages emotional peace. The author explains that forgiveness does not mean accepting wrong behavior. It means choosing not to carry emotional bitterness continuously. People who cannot forgive often remain mentally trapped in past pain. Forgiveness allows healing, emotional freedom, and inner peace. 13. Self-respect matters in relationships. The chapter also discusses self-respect. While kindness and understanding are important, the author explains that people should not tolerate constant disrespect or emotional harm. Healthy relationships require mutual respect, honesty, and emotional balance. The chapter teaches that individuals should maintain boundaries and avoid relationships that continuously destroy peace and self-worth. 14. Social influence shapes identity. Toward the end of the chapter, the author explains that identity is influenced by social surroundings. People slowly become similar to the environments they spend the most time in. If surrounded by ambition, discipline, positivity, and growth, a person often develops similar qualities. If surrounded by laziness, negativity, fear, and hopelessness, mental strength weakens over time. The chapter encourages readers to consciously choose environments that support their future goals and emotional well-being. 15. Kindness creates stronger human connection. The chapter concludes by emphasizing kindness. The author explains that kindness improves relationships, creates trust, reduces conflict, and strengthens emotional connection. Kindness does not require wealth or perfection. Small actions such as listening carefully, speaking respectfully, helping others, and showing empathy can positively affect both the giver and the receiver. The chapter teaches that emotionally strong people are not only disciplined and focused, but also compassionate and respectful toward others. Main message of Chapter 7. The central message of Chapter 7 is relationships and social environments strongly influence mindset, emotions, confidence, and personal growth. The author teaches that positive relationships strengthen mental health, negative environments weaken emotional energy, communication shapes connection, and kindness improves both personal and social life. People become healthier emotionally when they surround themselves with supportive, respectful, and growth-oriented individuals. Final conclusion. Chapter 7 of You Become What You Think teaches that human beings are deeply affected by the people around them. Relationships, communication, and social environments influence thoughts, emotions, confidence, and behavior. The chapter encourages readers to choose positive company, avoid toxic negativity, communicate respectfully, practice patience, forgive wisely, and build emotionally healthy relationships. The author explains that strong relationships and positive environments help people grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. The entire chapter can be summarized in one sentence. The energy, attitudes, and relationships surrounding you gradually shape your mindset, emotional health, and future direction.